So tell us more about the grace experience, what it is all about.
Awesome. So the Father made me, He placed the burden upon my heart that the unsaved ought to be reached. Now, the grace experience is not just for the unsaved, it is for the saved, it is for the unsaved, it is for the church, somebody in church, it's for somebody who is outside the church, it's for the believer, it's for the unbeliever. Building from the fact that the prodigal son went away, and all the father wanted him to do was come back home. The woman by the well was considered to be a very sinful person. She had the stigma on her as a prostitute, but that was the person Jesus was looking for. So this is the Father telling me, He said, go after these people that are considered to be unreachable. So no matter how deep you've fallen, His hands can reach you. No matter how far you've gone, His hands can reach you. So He said, just gather the people and point them to me. Gather the people and point them to Jesus. That is the essence of the grace experience. So, grace has a name, and the name of grace is Jesus. So basically, it means the Jesus experience. Come and experience Jesus for yourself.
Oh,
yeah.
That's the meaning.
Yes.
Wow. This is the first time I'll be hearing that. Okay, now organizing such event won't be easy.
At all.
So how do you manage burnout physically, emotionally, mentally? How do you manage? Because I know that, in fact, this small one I'm doing self, I know how it can be. There was a time formula we were talking, and I said, my head don't full. Just leave me first. So how do you manage such burnout?
Yeah, I can't even come here and lie. It's
going mentally down, organizing such events. Let me give myself an example. Last night, at first it was like I was relaxed because I had some experience last day, so I was kind of relaxed. Reaching the final week, it was becoming something else. Last night, getting home, I had to put calls through to make sure things were in order. It got to a point. In fact, I forgot that I didn't eat yesterday. I was telling my colleague that I took food to work. I came back home not knowing that the food was still inside my bag. It was this morning when I got up trying to arrange things. I saw the food flask inside my bag. Opened the food. Fortunately, the food wasn't bad, probably because of the weather. I had to quickly warm it so that it doesn't go to waste. So like you said, it's not just about the money. Mentally, you can be drained. I had so much headache last night just thinking about what to do that I didn't even eat. I had to go to sleep. When I told my colleague, she just said, now what for you? I said, well, it was when she came to my place this afternoon that I even managed to take break. So mentally, it can be draining, like you said. And then, like you said, the money part, whether we like it or not, money is needed to pursue your dreams, your vision, and all that. So how do you cope financially? From us, you've moved to stadiums. And maybe one day we'll see that you've gotten a big land and open space.
Yes.
Bigger.
Yes.
You have it in mind.
That's the dream. That's the dream.
So how do you cope financially?
So about the dream, right?
Yes.
The dream is to, because where the Lord is taking us to, Rampam Stadium can no longer contain the people from what happened last year. So the dream is that by the help of God, we get a space that can really contain the people. And not just the space, a space that when you walk into, you don't get to rent lights, screen, sound, everything is there. Wow. And it's not just for the grace experience, it's for the body of Christ. Yes. People can come in there and use it to worship. That is the dream. Now, for the finance, it has not been easy. Every visionary person in this room will tell you that it's not easy to rally funds to do something, right? But one thing I say to young people that come to ask me this question is, first of all, you must be the biggest financier of that vision. You must give your all to the extent that people will see it and becomes attractive to them and they want to identify with you. When I started, I'm not ashamed to say this, when I started 2018, I had just come back from Eastern Europe then, and I didn't have a job. All I had in my head was dream, what I want to do with my life, So in my bank accounts, all I had was not up to more than 14,000 naira. It wasn't up to that. But then that was the first edition. We ended up spending 1 point something million, 2018, right? But right now, it runs into so much millions that I don't want to think about it, because when I think about it, it bothers me, because I know I'm doing it for the Father. I don't want to think about it. So let me give you an idea. Imagine flying in Mercy with an entire team of 9 people, all of them by air, lodging them, the honorarium, everything. So that's just one aspect. Imagine sound, So I don't want to go into the millions, right? But the first edition, now, apart from the fact that you have to be the major financier of that vision, another thing is that you have to, because if God has called you to do it, He will back you up. First edition, I remember going to the people doing the sound, and I said to them, I want the best of the sound you can get on the Plateau. Then they said it will cost me 140,000 naira. I didn't have it, but I told them I will do it. So I got back home, I prayed about it. The next morning, I had just finished taking my shower. My phone was on the parlor. I had my phone beep. I came out to see probably what made my phone beep, probably a text or something. I checked. I did not, God is my witness, I did not speak to somebody about it. I got exactly 140,000 naira from someone. We did not discuss about it. So this is the divine aspect of the finances. Apart from the fact that you will put in your money, God will show up. 3 is that you have to be very strategic. If it's something you can do alone, then it's not big enough. You have to intentionally seek out partners. Intentionally, strategically seek out partners. And I say to young people, when you're seeking out partners, you don't just go to anybody. Because you can go to somebody and the word he will tell you, you might not think the word was powerful as at that time, but it will register in your subconscious. And when you go home, you become absolutely discouraged to even move a step. So you have to be careful the people you share your vision with, people that you know that when you share it with them, they can understand and stand with you. And I say to people, there are people, even in this Jos, with billions of naira stocked up somewhere, just looking for somebody that they can believe in, who they see is doing something for the Father. There are people like that in this town. There are people like that in Lagos, people like that everywhere. So one thing is, you have to really trust God to link you up to those kind of people. When they come into your life, one person can change. Speaking by experience, one of the years we're planning the Grace Experience, and we're trusting God to have a minister from outside Jos. And we're trusting God. All of a sudden, I got a call. I wouldn't want to mention his name. He used to be in Jos, but he's no longer in Jos. He's right now a multi-billionaire. In fact, let me mention his name. By virtue of gratitude, I'm being grateful right now. He's the owner of the Delborough Hotel. He's the owner of Stanel Oil. So he called me one day and he said, I'm sending Moses Bliss to you. He said, I'm sending Moses Bliss to you. And he didn't just send Moses Bliss. That time he also sent somebody from Congo. Then the guy's song was trending. Hey Yahweh Kumama, Mama, hey. So he sent the guy as well. But what he told me to do was he paid them their honorarium. The millions they asked for, he paid them. But he said to me, you will handle their logistics and their accommodation. You must treat them like kings. Now, so the person who is willing to help you must know that you are responsible enough to handle it. So immediately he paid their honorarium. I told him it is settled. I went into work, raised the funds to fly in everybody. The guy from Congo treated them as kings. And when they left, they told him that this man you sent us to behaves like you. Excellence. We see the same excellence in both of you. Now, the point I'm trying to make is, I was saying that there are people with this money that when you strategically, prayerfully look out, they can show up for you. I believe that this probably has helped someone.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I would have added to it, but in order not to waste our time.
No, you can go ahead. It's important. Just
Okay,
quickly.
when you talked about being the number one financier of your dream, I will agree with that because I'm a living example for that with this whole thing. Now the truth is this: when you have a vision, you have to be ready before people come in. No doubt God will send in the people, but you have to take that step first. Concerning this event, even last year's own, formula is a witness. We started it early, and the good thing is starting whatever you want to do on time. Start planning. So when you start planning on time, it will help you a whole lot. The money will go, but with time, before you even get hooked, as long as God gave you this, it will bring in the people and the support and this, an example for this event. So I must agree with that. Don't wait, take steps. God wants us to take that step first to show that we trust Him.
Yeah.
It's not church shower. All right, now there are people who have dreams. They are clear on what they want to do, the purpose for their lives, but the money is not there. What would you advise such people to do?
Get to work. Find something to do with your hands. Find a solution that you can bring an answer to. It is not because he's here that I want to say this. Dr. Fish inspires me a lot. From the little I know of you, sir, I was told that you came in to do youth service. Am I correct, sir? Now, so what that said to me was he realized that Jos is a virgin land. When you travel to Lagos and you see the different kind of businesses happening there, you realize that Jos hasn't even started. So many things to be tapped in the city of Jos, across the nation. So my advice to you is, let me give you a story, a very brief story of myself. When I say people do not believe. So when I came back from Eastern Europe with my master's degree, I became a driver. Now, I became a driver to someone who is in business. You know why I became the driver? Because I wanted to learn the ropes of the business. From driver, I became a PA. From driver, I became the project manager of the company because I read master's degree project management. And, I'm sharing my testimony with you, a young person in this room, just to inspire you. And at some point, this person passed on. Nobody in the family understood the business. Nobody except me. That was how I went into the business with the debts of the business, worked out the debts of the business, built the business to where it is today by the mercies of God. Now, why am I saying this? Do not be afraid to start small. You can start from anywhere. The problem we have in this generation is that you're expecting that billions will just fall on your laps. You build it step by step, kobo by kobo, penny by penny, naira by naira. So please and please, you have a dream. It is your responsibility to first of all fund it. So you have to find a way. You have to find a way to fund it. And when you fund your dream gets to a place where your dream begins to fund you. Right? You fund it, it begins to fund you. I was telling some young people, when I started music ministry on the Plateau, the biggest thing they will give you is probably, 20,000 naira, 10,000 naira, 5,000, they will say, God bless you. But right now, sometimes in a week, as a music minister, I say this to you under God, one person can, after ministering for barely 10 minutes, 300,000 is credited into my account. For barely 10 minutes, you get 250,000. Barely 10 minutes, 200,000. Barely 10 minutes, 100,000. It was not like this. So you have to invest you're into your gift intentionally, it gets to the point where it begins to fund you, basically.
All right, thank you. So now, aside money, what else do you need to fulfill your dreams?
Okay, so money is, permit me to say this, money is the least important. It's important, but the biggest important thing, we've talked about God, right, is relationships. See, the door that you're dreaming and hoping to open and pass through, somebody has walked past it 50 years ago. It's nothing to him, but it's your prayer point. When you have the right relationships, things can become easy for you. Sometimes you wouldn't even need to pay money. By virtue of relationship, somebody can say, for instance, when we had the last one at Palm Stadium, somebody sent us LED screens. I didn't pay a dime. Relationship. So there are different things that you can capitalize on to make your dream happen. And one, relationship is a higher currency. Relationship can make things so smooth and easy for you. Two is that you have to be very strategic. Like you have to draw a plan. You have to be very clear on what you want to do. And you have to be intentional about your branding, your excellence. Because let me give you an instance. The reason why you go to a supermarket and you see 3 items, they are the same thing. But the one you first go for is the one that has the best packaging, the best excellence. The reason why sometimes as music ministers, you put out a song online, nobody even clicks to download is because your branding already has demarketed you. When you're scrolling on social media and you see an excellent graphic design, you can't pass it. You will stop to see what that is. That is what branding, that is what excellence does to you. So besides so many things, but because of our time, besides money, relationship. Besides money, be intentional about your brand and excellence. Besides money, be strategic. Lay out your plan so that anyone who comes around can work with it. And finally, build a mind-blowing team. You can't do it alone. Intentionally seek out people that can do these things and help you actualize it. So build a mind-blowing team.
Okay, thank you so much. Finally, what is the cost of not chasing your dreams or actualizing your dreams?
Okay, so the cost is that you just basically become an observer. People will be doing things, you will only be observing. People will be doing great things, you will only be cheering them on. And when you have vision in your heart and you don't actualize it, you will lose peace. Rhoda, no matter all the things you've gone through to put this meeting together, at the end of today, you'll be fulfilled.
Yes.
You'll be so grateful that you did it. You've impacted lives right here. That is the result. That is the benefit of following your vision. And what it does is that it gives you influence. I've walked into banks, people are on the queue, and they say, Minister G, come. I've walked into restaurants to eat, and people say, man of God, they pay for the food. I've walked into the salon to cut my hair. Man of God, they paid for it. So it increases your influence. But you were not looking for influence. You were just following purpose. When you follow purpose, influence comes automatically. And let me also give you a fact. When you follow purpose, money comes. Let me give you an example. The house that Frank Edwards lives in right now, he didn't pay a dime. It's a politician that called him and said, man of God, there is a house we have, I think, is it Lekki? Just, you can go take that property. And he said, okay, sir, what should I pack? To say, don't pack anything except if you have a studio, just take your studio. It's properly, fully furnished. So you have a Nathaniel Bassi wake up in the morning to an alert that is mind-blowing. And they didn't work for, they worked for it, by virtue of purpose. But then, if you follow purpose, money will come, influence will come, your name, fame will come, basically.
Please, can we put our hands together for G? I don't know if you've been blessed or if you've learned something from this. Thank you once more. God bless you for coming.